All right. Good evening. Good evening, guys. Good evening. Good evening, everyone. I hope you guys can hear me. We're going to go on with our session. We should also be streaming the same session on YouTube on our YouTube channel. So I'm kinda not feeling well. My head is not okay. So I don't know if Sage you're in position, Henry or Kim to be in charge of this meeting tonight.
Hello everyone, I hope everyone can hear me.
Guys can confirm the chat section. Come nasikia Sage.
Alright, so Henry and Henry na nani ndo atanisaidia?
Kim.
Kim. Yeah, so Henry na Kim, I'll take like nitaangalia three pairs. After nimeangalia, I'll hand it over to one of you guys. Then hata nitaangalia four. Alafu if you have anything to add in lines with that, you can share with the guys. Yeah. So can anyone of you guys see my screen? I hope it's visible. Yeah?
Before you continue, I just want to urge guys, make sure your mic is muted so that you can have a smooth session because we are streaming this on YouTube as well. So if you have any issue, you can just type on the chat section or you can raise your hand so that you can be given a chance to speak. You can go on stage.
Okay. So last week I told you we'll buy from here. We actually bought. We got some few pips. Alafu while we were buying, I told you if we closed here, we are going to sell up until this zone. As you can see, price reacted nicely on this. So before I get into the charts, I'll start looking at the DXY. Yeah. Ideally, we were bullish. Price reacted nicely. It shot to the upside, and we are currently at our weekly, or we have gotten. We are about to get to our weekly area of liquidity, a V2V. Yeah, because we had a break. Let me just clean the chart so that everyone can see. Alafu, if you guys feel I'm like I am rushing through, munaweza kaniambia ni slow down, msikakuwe na any pressure. We are here to get the most out of whatever it is that we can today. Yeah, we have this V2V here. Yeah, but this is on the weekly. So if we were to check, this is actually our V2V. Our point of interest is here. Yeah. I'm going to check on the monthly just in case. So for the monthly, this is where I had our break of structure to the downside. Yeah. After having our break of structure to the downside here, we had price react a bit. So I'm expecting price to just go in a little bit. I believe it reacted from a flip level. Maybe we might go react from this zone. Then we will be selling. But if we go over to the daily, we have this V to V here. Just a moment, el momente. Price went up, came down, broke structure to the upside. We even had a shift over here. And this is on a high time frame, you guys should remember. Yeah. So we had a shift, we have an inside formation hapo. We have a shift and an inside formation. So since we have a shift and an inside formation, our point of interest goes from there to here. So this is where we want to see our price get in, do a shift, do or whatever on a lower time frame. Yeah. So we want to see price come inside here, then dip. So why am I confident on here? Because price has been moving. It hasn't been like a rocket going straight away. It's like it's coming up, coming down, going up again, like in a cheza too, like it's not moving at a very rapid speed. Yeah, that's why I'm confident in this holding. Yeah. Anyways, this is what I'm expecting to see from the DXY come next week. Price to come there. Then I'll wait for a shift in the 1 hour. But initially, I'll have to confirm with the FTA. And on that note, I think on Wednesday, I can have a session with you guys on FTA for those, for the majority of guys who are in a limbo every time you hear me or has say FTA, FTA. Yeah. So we can be having that this week on Wednesday. Acha nitajiorganize. That's on the DXY. So I'm selling the DXY. If I'm selling the DXY, let's go to the EU. So on the EU, ideally, I told you guys that I expected it to go down a bit. It was on the weekly. I expected it to go down, like I was anticipating on this level is where we'll be getting our reaction over here. But price ended up closing bearish. So price closed bearish and the DXY was buying. So this makes sense. So, but DXY has approached our area of interest. You guys can see, like we talked about on Monday, we are still in our, it closed inside, it did not close below. If price had closed below this level, below here, wait, why didn't it draw? Okay, if price had closed below this, then we will be thinking about continuing our sales. But as you can see, it closed like this within the zone. Let me just change your broker. Let me use a broker that has complete candles so that you guys can actually see clear charts. So we price closed here within this key level here. So the reason why this wasn't an issue is because price closed above. We, like I usually say, we focus more on body closure than the wicks. The body is where it tells us the direction. The wicks are usually just swings. Yeah? So on this, I'm expecting when you go to the daily time frame, yeah, I'm expecting price to react on this level, not level, that zone. You see, price just tapped in, then went back up. But ideally, we go from that to a higher time frame. We actually had a shift. If you go to a lower time frame, we have our level here. So as much as price went up like this, I am expecting price to come back down inside a bit more so that we can shoot to the upside. Yeah, we can shoot a little bit more. That's on EU. I'll go to GU. So for GU, like I told you guys, the people who are on, price reacted here. Okay, let me go with the weekly. Let me change charts. Hey, my net, but at least you're less kama last time. So for GU, price has been reacting heavily on our zone over here. If we end up switching to a monthly time frame, we have this key level here, levels there. So this is on the monthly. Monthly goes with the daily. When we get to the daily, as you guys can see, it reacted on the flip level, like complete reaction on the flip level. Yeah.
Ebu wewe.
Can you guys see the screen? Hello, is someone talking? Yeah. Okay, can see the screen. So. So I was talking about GU. So this one reacted on the flip level. Ideally, I was ex- I was expecting we had like a something like a, what can I tell you? We had a breakout. We had a breakout over here, but the breakout came in an FTA. If you go to the weekly, you guys can see initially we had this push to the upside where the wick showed a strong rejection from the flip levels here. We have a flip level here, and apart from the flip level here, it also did not close below this gap. So this is a clear indication that this zone will hold price. So after this zone holds price, we want to shoot the price this coming week from here to the upside. Yeah, I'm very bullish on this. Why? Because we had a break of structure to the upside over here, and we have an area of interest over here. So daily, it reacted from zone here. It reacted. Then if you go to a 4 hour, just for confirmation, when we go through FTAs, you'll get to understand why I switch from daily to the 4 hours instead of going directly to the 15-minute time frame. So you guys shouldn't worry about that. So when you go to the 4 hour, you can see that we had our shift here. After having our shift there, price came very nicely. I don't know if I gave the signal that we would be buying. I don't know, maybe I didn't, but anyways, price reacted from here swiftly and it moved from upside. So we can there was the first buys that we got, but we might be getting other buys, so we will be patient and wait. What are we waiting for? Ideally, I'm expecting maybe price will come back to around these levels, but ideally, I'm heavily focusing on the daily time frame. Yeah, I want to see price come back to either this or this, but we might not be getting it coming back to this because we had this liquidity consumption happening. Yeah, so I want price to keep on shooting up and we can go as high as we will be waiting for the candles to print so that we can get to know our areas of entry, because we'll be getting continuational buys as we move along. This already reacted in there. Let me just show you the zone completely nicely on the 15-minute time frame. If you go into the 15-minute time frame, you can see it clearly over here that this week we reacted on our zone over there. You guys can see we had that first tap, then we got another confirmation that came in, tapped it nicely, then it flew. One, two taps, then it flew. So I'm very bullish on this as the DXY. I am bearish on the DXY. Um, Let me finish up with the BTC. So for the BTC, I told you guys if we break this zone, we are looking for sells. We actually broke down. They went up. Let's go to the daily time frame. After it broke down, did a body closure. It gave us this entry on this week here. Then it closed. Then when it closed below this key level over here, when it closed below that key level, the next day it gave us this entry, then it dipped. Tapping our QM. This is actually a QM when you move to the weekly time frame. Yeah, it taps the QM. So we might just be getting more buys, as you guys can see. We have a QM here. As you guys can see, I'm waiting to see what happens on the daily time frame before I decide if I'm going long for a long term period or whatever, because price might decide to come like this, close above that, come back, because first thing that I want to see is this. I want to see, as you can see, it's bullish at the moment. Yeah, I want to see price push up, come back down below that, closes below that, then come up, or if it doesn't come up, it creates an inside formation, then breaks. After I see this, I am buying. If I don't see this, I am selling. Why? Because we haven't had a break of structure above this level over here. Okay, so I'll look at the JPY basket, then I'll leave it to Henry to look at some pairs. Yeah, JPY basket. So on the basket, as you guys can see, as the chart is telling us, like I said last week, I was waiting for price to come. It closed above this one. Then the day it moved up like this, yeah. So this is indicating to me that we are bullish. But first, I want to see maybe an inside formation or an outside formation being formed with a shift. But if I look at it from this angle, from the 4 hour, we have a QM here. We have an it's an inside formation. I think it's an outside formation. It's an outside formation. Since I'm seeing an outside formation here, if price just decides to come back down here, if it decides to come back to this level, it is an authenticated area of liquidity, a confirmed area of liquidity. So I will be buying from there and shooting price to the upside. Stop loss will be roughly down here, a few pips below this, yeah. So for the basket, I'm bullish, meaning the rest I'm bearish. Bearish on the EJ, UJ, GJ, and all that. Yeah. But I'm not going to be entering blindly, as you guys have understood how I usually flow. Yeah. Anyways, let me handle the mic over to Henry. Console share.
Thank you, Sage. Thank you for the highlight that you've given unto us, Fal. On my side, let me share my screen. Mm, Can everybody see my screen?
Clear.
You can type. Yeah. I also had the same thing with you, because on my end, where the price reacted, it reacted on a monthly perspective. We can see on the JPY basket. My net today is net yangu leo inasumbua, so imereact kwa a monthly area of interest, so I'll be expecting some more buys. I'll wait for price action first to play along. Ndo tujue ka tunabuy ama we will continue with the buy, but it has given us a good model buys. So I'll also be selling on me and going very fast on JPY, GJ. Uh, on GJ, first of all, where price is, it's on a very, let's go to weekly. On weekly perspective, if you can see if everybody can see my screen, tuko pale juu, tumefika kwa zone yenye this zone. Now price is shifting. It's nitasemaje, income ishafika and it's trying to pull back. So from daily, let's go first to go to daily ndo tujue kama ni ndo tuende kwa 4 hours. So the daily On the daily, yeah, as you can see, kuna shift imefanyika, then there's this great massive impact, impulsive move may happen, which my target zone iko hapa area ya 2 or 3. That's my first area of that I'll be targeting. Please mkiingia mute your mics kwa sababu pia tuko live on YouTube. So tafadhali mute your mics. And I'll also be very quick like Sage. Ndo nipe Kim amalizie on the USD currency pairs. Uh, on my end, kwa ya daily, now we need to first of all look at the shift, kama kuna shift imefanyika kwa an hour, alafu we go to the FTA, ndo tuangalie ka kuna FTAs, area of the FTA yenye iko. There was definitely a shift that happened. There was definitely a shift that happened and it left us with it's kind of an inside and an outside formation. Kuna this area of liquidity yenye iko hapa, all this. Let me delete this first. Ndo muione. Just a minute. My internet today is very slow. Yeah. So on the 4 hour, kulikuwa na shift ilifanyika. On the 4 hour, there was this shift, and also kulikuwa na this internal structure. There's this internal structure first, of which I'll be waiting for price to come play along this side before it takes some more cells. Play along before I take some more cells. So looking on the 1 hour time frame, what do we have? Kuna hiyo, kuna this zone, exactly, an area of liquidity. So I'll be plus this projection yenye iko hapa, I'll first of all wait, I'll not be aggressive come this Monday, in which is in a few hours. I'll just be because market iko kwa consolidation. So what I'll just wait for price to react. Ndo inipe clear price actions. Ndo we know where the best rate is, but at least we have a clue on where we are selling from, because we have this zone and we'll be looking for sales on the we'll be looking for sales on the GJ. Mbio mbio hadi kwa EJ. Still on EJ, I'll be looking for sales because we are on a high. If you go to the monthly time frame, uta notice we are on a new high. New high. Let me delete. Tuko kwa new high enye we need first of all to retrace back kidogo ndo tujue kama we are going to retrace all the way down ama and for on our monthly the area of liquidity kuna hii week overflow ama tutaita gap, no, week overflow, so on which I'll be look targeting there. So on the weekly tukiangalia, let me delete everything ilikuwa so kwa hiyo iko overlap. Ukiangalia kwa monthly, on our daily there's this zone, this area of liquidity. Nimechukulia kwa week kwa sababu this zone it was a key zone before price pumped up. Ukiangalia vizuri, there was a lot of resistance around this zone before price it pump up and break in this zone. So I'll be taking it from the weeks till here. That will be my first area of liquidity, of which I'll be looking for if I want to look for more buys, but I'll wait for price to come here. So meaning I'll be selling. Ukiangalia kwa hii week rejection, meaning kuna sell. So on the daily, kwa wale wenye tulifunzwa story na candlestick, is it Morningstar? Yeah. it's a morning star, of which I'll be tukiangalia ka kuna shift kwa 1 hour ndo tujue if you're selling a shift. There was a shift that happened here, made an outside formation and also have an inside formation. So with this price action also, it's a bit, let me draw kuna hiyo shift that happened from there, leaving us with an inside formation.
Correction kidogo.
Yes.
Can you put the line chart alafu uangalie the highest point na the price that pushed to the highest point so that you can mark the proper shift?
From this zone.
Iko sawa.
Yeah. So I have that hapo ndo kuna, then there was this area of kuna now let's us use this as our inside formation kwa FTA. That is the furthermost deviation in tuko nayo. Kuna that zone where I'll be looking for price to come back to this zone, huku ndani, but tukigo back to like the 4 hour, tukiangalia 4 hours, what happened in the 4 hours, utaona kulikuwa na weak overlap. I think my network today, it's definitely a weak overlap, na pia kulikuwa na hiyo shift. So price, I'll be look before we get some more sales. Na pia ukiangalia where price is right now, it's in an area of liquidity and a type, is it type 5 or type 1 hapa chini. So I'll be focused first of all to have a pullback kutafuta hiyo ni area of liquidity. I'll focus kwanza price ikiingia huku ndani, ndo sasa I'll have more sales from there, because ukiangalia this area kiingia 30 minutes you'll see it clearly, na unaona kuna impio iko hapa chini yenye price has reacted on, and now we will be waiting for either, na ndio maana kuna hii consolidation because hatujui ni wapi market inaenda. So first of all I'll be waiting for this break hapa ndo tujue if you'll be going higher for these areas of liquidity yenye tumeacha huku juu, ndo before we sells, but long term ni sales. Intradays I'll be buying on EJ. Tukiingia kwa card JPY, first of all nimesahau, before we do all that, nimesahau kuangalia economic calendar Sage. Tulisahau kuangalia what do we have on our calendar this coming week.
Ukimanage unaweza kapitia. I overlooked that.
Lacha nipitie vizuri haraka haraka. Date ni 23.
Henry, siwacha mimi nipitie kalenda. Malizia technical.
Sawa.
Utapitia kalenda na CHF pairs,
Sawa.
Wacha nirudi nimalizie na card JPY ndo nikuachie.
Usisahau kuangalia UJ.
UJ. Sawa. So on kenye tuko nayo kwa card, tukiangalia on a weekly, the bias is still on a very bullish movement. Yes, it's a bullish, but of which naweza ita is it a retracement? I mean, shift ilifanyikia hapa, come back. Yeah, kuna these areas of liquidity yenye iko hapa, before we get a good push ya kuvunja this zone, kuvunja that zone, there is this area of liquidity yenye iko hapa, of which on weekly, on daily, coming back on daily to look at those areas, utapata yeah, the unmitigated area. Kuna general on GPU card GPY, I'll also be selling on a minute, guys. Sawa. So tukiangalia on GPY, before we break this structure hapa juu, there was this push yenye ilikuwa, of which is an areas of liquidity, of which I'll be looking for price to come back to this zone, na hata tayari ni kufika inafika, but to the areas of liquidity before we have a massive push. But if we're gonna break, so this is the V2V, validation to invalidation, but if you're gonna break down here, I'll be looking for a retest na ndo tuendelee kusell. But for what I have right now, on my perspective, this is our V2V area, of which I'll be looking for more buys from this zone. Juu kuna structure, kuna shift iko hapa. That's on a daily. Na the nearest area of liquidity iko wapi? Ni hapa. Na ndo tunaifikia. So if you go to 1 hour, then before to on 1 hour
tuangalia on a monthly what you're seeing.
on monthly kuna week overlap na pia kuna shift ilifanyika. Let me delete everything ndo tuanze. Kuna shift imefanyika on hapa the previous month yenye this November kuna okay, tuwesema ni shift because the month has not closed but there's these areas of liquidity yenye iko hapa chini. Kuna that area of liquidity yenye iko hapo, so meaning ndo tukue very sure of what kuna this before to break kwendea huku juu, because our target will be here up, going up. Na pia there was a shift. Oh yeah, I think I'm doing this wrong. This is the last leg that we had, tukakuwa na shift hapo chini, so there's probably a pullback to get to the FTAs ziko hapa hivi na ndo tumezifikia, so probably will be shifting downwards. Don't worry, leo sijui mbona nimepanic. Leo nilijaribu kuchambua charts zikanilemea kidogo, so I'm not very...
Hakuna pressure, ndio maana tuko hapa sisi wote.
Leo nilijaribu
Ni mimi peke yangu ama pia kwenu wamefreeze?
Umepotea skiki.
Neti yake leo inamuonyesha vile yangu ilikuwa inanionyesha moto. Anyways, before arudi, let me talk about hiyo pay yenye alikuwa anaongelea. It's card CHF, si ndio? Ideally kwa most if not all JPY pairs, we are currently in areas of liquidity and whatnot. So on this card CHF,
Got it.
card CHF, Yeah.
Si wacha represent mbio mbio alafu
We
tumalizie.
present. Lakini nilisahau kwa hapa. Present.
Sawa, wacha niende mbio mbio. So I think I'll cover what I'll cover on because most of you guys have covered significant topics. I'll cover on the fundamentals
Kim
and then
utaangalia fundamentals alafu upitie pia UJ kiasi.
okay, sawa. So fundamentally, I think last week we had NFP, non-farm payrolls. It was on Thursday. We'll try apply that. So last week, after the markets were open or after the government shutdown ended, most of the USD fundamentals are being released. So we had additional jobless claims, we had the NFP, we had Philadelphia manufacturing, etc., etc. And I think we had a positive NFP coming out last week, indicating that we have more jobs in the USD market as the data releases were released on Thursday, indicating a better dollar going forward or a stronger dollar. But I think the reaction was not firstly felt because we had a mixed reaction of fundamentals coming out at the same time. So the fact that we had a positive data release on the jobs of the US, we had some significant other fundamentals that were released, but some were positive, some were neutral. As you can see, some came out neutral, the ones in black, some came out negative, the ones in red, and the ones in green came out positive. But I think in terms of price action, the dollar is in a critical zone. But in the long term, on my end, just a minute, stop sharing. My end, zoom kidogo or stop share. In my end, technically, the dollar is still very, very bullish in the long term. But significantly at the moment, the DXY is at a key significant zone or at a supply zone, or some call it a resistance zone. So most likely on my end, my bias was currently likely to experience some pullback on the dollar as we open up tomorrow and Tuesday, and then we continue being bullish on the dollar, targeting higher zones. My zone is at 101,965 levels. I think also Ngare marked at some point there. So expecting some pullbacks tomorrow and Tuesday on the dollar, then we continue being bullish irrespective of the labor markets data release that came out positive. So in terms of price action or in terms of structure of the dollar, we are heavily bullish. So on that note, let me cover this week's fundamentals so that we know what we are expecting. Just a moment, I share this week. I usually I like using investing.com, but the others use Forex Factory or my FX book. All them are the same, regardless. We are getting the same data. So for me this week, we have quite a smooth week because we don't have very, very many heavy fundamentals. Thus price action might be clearer. So tomorrow we expect a yen holiday on the JPY. That is on Monday. High impact news on the dollar. Tuesday we expect PPI and retail sales on the dollar, indicating that will have some volatility on the dollar pairs. On Wednesday we have I think at the moment we had New Zealand dollar. We had interest rates being released on the New Zealand dollar or the RBNZ. We released on Sydney session around 4 a.m. We have some fundamentals there on pound, and we have some high impact news on the dollar, the normal jobless claims, and they have some new home sales data released. On Thursday, we have Thanksgiving. So there'll be a bank holiday on Thursday for the dollar. And then we'll close the week there. So I think it is quite not very eventful week.
or fundamentally, but in terms of price action, anticipate the price action to be a bit smoother. Now back to the charts whereby I was asked to look at some Swiss franc pairs. So on my end, in terms of Swiss franc, I think the CHF, the Swiss francs has been the last 1-2 weeks been heavily bullish, or I can say has been strong. That's giving us better trading opportunities for the currencies that are a bit weaker than the Swiss franc. So I'll look at CAD CHF, I'll look at AUD CHF, and maybe Pound CHF, Euro CHF. But I'll give an opinion on what maybe is in my watch list, around what I'm likely to look at in terms of price action. So as you can see on this CAD CHF, price action all along or for the long term has been heavily bearish. On CAD CHF, that's looking for sell opportunity on this pair is quite significant, or it's quite positive. As you can see here, in terms of liquidity, in terms of liquidation, we have can we call it a type of 5 liquidity, and a circle around here. Type 5, type 5, yes, type 5 liquidity seated around there, and also we have clear shift to the downside, and can call it a change of character here. Price retracing at this zone, some can call it a flip zone. I use this rectangle there. So my anticipation as we open up this week due to the CAD weakness and CHF strength, I'll be looking for shorts for this pair, which is CAD CHF around this zone. So I'll be seeing how price action opens tomorrow, looking for shorts to that liquidity zone down here. So for me, I'm heavily bearish on CAD CHF. You can put yourself slightly above this zone that has not been tapped, whereby we have, let me use this circle. We have a zone here that has not been well tapped, but you can, most of the time you'll find that price action, these minor pairs, you see price action coming out, taking out these liquidities, then closing below, and then namwagika vizuri. So
Kidogo
I'll be
Kim.
heavily bearish on CAD CHF as we open up the week. But maybe for the guys who have not been trading these minor pairs, these are pairs that you can hold even for 1-2 weeks. It's
Kidogo Kim.
needs a lot of patience. Yes.
If you know you're the one who has made annotations kwa screen, kindly clear. Finye hiyo annotation, alafu finye hapo kuna hiyo button inakada rubbish bin. Kindly clear it kwa ajili kila mtu
Mtu
anaona.
anachora na naona.
Mm.
So for CAD
Kindly.
CHF, for CAD CHF, I'm heavily bearish. I can see price action is quite cleaner. So it's just a matter of confirmation and having a proper sell on the pair. But this it's a pair that can test your patience. You can even hold this trade for a week or two. But if you are right in terms of price action and direction, eventually it will play out. Maybe on maybe I touch on Audi CHF, Australian dollar against the CHF. I think I had this pair the other week. Took a sell from that zone in terms of liquidity. No, in terms of direction, the price action, as you can see, is heavily bearish to the downside. That's very positive, looking for sell opportunities. In terms of liquidation, I think I had a formation around here. I remember quite well. Yeah, it was an area 1 there, which well, no, area 5 around this zone. Let me mark it. Area 5 liquidity around this zone, which ideally gave me a entry opportunity around that zone here, which I took. Go back to lower time frame. Go back to it 4 hours. 4 hours. So price action, I actually delivered some around some pips, around 150, say 150 pips. But the setups actually took some time to play out, and took my partials around this zone here. So as you can see, these are here still liquidity that has not yet been taken out all of it, because price action ilifika kwa hii zone. Thus, if maybe interested in taking this trade, you are likely to be very interested in see how price action will react at this zone here. As you can see, also, if you open up the market, zoom in, I have a very nice flip zone here. Price action has not really broken beyond this level. So we have a very nice flip zone there. So in terms of price action, we'll be interested in how price react at this zone. Then we continue selling that zone here, because our ultimate goal is for price to tap this zone down here, because this liquidity has not yet been taken down. So in terms of Australian dollar against the Swiss franc, heavily bearish on the same in the long term. So I think those two are maybe the positive ones in terms of the setups that maybe we could take. Maybe I can see the other weaker pair, because I'm not really interested in looking at euro and the pound, because you can see even on the dollar they are likely to be going bullish. So I'll opt for the other weaker currencies that maybe price in terms of strength is giving me weakness against the Swiss franc. Maybe I'll look at New Zealand, and then
extending the pipeline. We are also extending the road, and we are also extending the railway, because we believe that this region needs to move as one.
Sage, can you mute to them 68 something something?
Just a moment. Hey. Okay, I'm in
29, 65. Ana nini? Ana username.
Hii nimeshangaa.
Nasikiliza news. Let me continue. So in terms of this pair, New Zealand dollar against the CHF, as you can see, it is heavily bearish. We are selling this currency in the long term in terms of daily and weekly biasness or liquidation. So our work is just to look for significant pullbacks, align it with the liquidation process, and then we continue aligning with the trend. So as you can see here, we had a very nice shift to the downside. Mark this a change of character here. But you also see price closing down the downside here. And then we have a significant pullback in terms of daily. I think we had seeing a very nice, this on the daily, seeing a very nice type 1, is it type 1? Yes, type 1 liquidity here that I've circled, that has occurred here, but not very fast or very eager to take this trade, because I think price, most of the times when you're talking about the trend, price action you have to give leeway to price action to at least to retrace some significant level, maybe around 50 to 65% retracement level, so that you can observe other confluences for you to take the trade. So for me, I'm not really eager to take this trade until I see price action at least has retraced significantly. Trying to access my Fibonacci here. Let's see. So that we apply some fib levels. Yes, okay, very nice. So as you can see, price action is still coming back to optimum level, or some guys can call it OTE. And also we have some kind of formation here. Let's see, around this zone that has not yet been tapped. So for me, I'll be waiting for price to react at this zone. No clear formation in terms of area 1, area 5 at that zone. Let me see. It's not clear formation, but we have a very nice gap there, and I can call it validation. It's in validation here. I think Sage will explain it there. We have a kind of formation here, a gap here that price likely when tapping that zone continue selling. So I'll be interested to see how price react at this 68%, 50% levels, and then I continue selling. But clearly on what I'm watching on my watch list is CAD CHF and Audi. Is it Audi? Yes, AUD CHF. Sana sana the call it the A++ setup is a CAD CHF in terms of the minor pairs. So up to that point, I think I'll give back to Sage to conclude the meeting.
Okay.
Sage.
Okay. So the last pair personally I look at is USD That's the pair that has not been looked at. Oh, alafu let me briefly touch on GBP and ZD. I usually like it. I like the pair. Where is this? Let me change the charts. At least this you guys can see. So when I come to the monthly, we are still in our area of liquidity. As much as price went ahead and took all the liquidities that are on this level, as you guys can see, this level here, we are still within our area of liquidity. It's a type 5, yeah? That's on the monthly. When you go down to the weekly, okay, ideally, you will notice that most of the time I go from this level, from the first time frame to the next one, and so on and so forth, yeah? So over here, price had to come back to that zone, and ideally it closed above, then tried going above, then it closed below. So from here on out, personally, I am looking for sales. Why am I looking for sales? On a weekly, we had a shift and it came back. When we go down to the 4 hour, we might see some formations that are on here, yeah? Well, there was the first entry, then it dipped, then there was that second entry. Let's go to the daily. What do we see on the daily? On the daily, this is where the shift was actually. Okay, let me leave that there. Let me use a clean chart because we are on the daily. Oopsie. On the daily, we had our shift on this stick over here. So we got our shift for GBP and ZD here. After getting our shift, we had a gap that was over here. So if you're wondering where these cells were coming from, now you know. We have that gap, price came, tapped, dipped. So this is from the daily time frame. It's reacted very well on our level there. I'll go down to the 4 hour. When you move like this, you won't be worried about FTA. That's one thing that I'd like you guys to know. We had our shift over here. So we are actually getting confirmations from one time frame to another that we are in a specific direction bias. As you guys can see, there was this gap over here. Price came, it consumed all of the gap that was there. Then it went down. We are sure that we are bearish, so we're not looking for buys. Buys, we were to have them over here on these levels over here. That's where the buys were to come from. So now we are full on sell mode. Now, as much as this one closed bearish, I want to see price come back down to these levels, this one and this one. So once price comes down here, but we can actually be getting sales from this level here come this week in that zone. So we saw that we had a 4 hour shift from here, and the shift for 4 hours is completely in line with the 1 hour. Sawa. Now that we have that shift, we are seeing that it's only this. Let me just move these things from here to our current one. This is the only thing that is in line with what we are looking at. So, and all of you can see that it's a liquidity engineering. It reacted on it very nicely. You can see tap entry 1, stop loss up there. If you didn't want that big stop loss, 15 minutes. 15 minutes, did we get a shift? I am suspecting we got our shift. This is the highest. Let's say shift got, yeah, we got a shift. So from here on out, we're just looking for continuational cells. So, but over here, you wouldn't be getting into the charts. There's so much data over here. Yeah, there's so much data. But if price decides to come back to this level here, because we've already had a continuational shift over here, now waiting will be your enemy, because you've already got the sign. It came from there. So if price decides to come back to this level over here, you can go maybe refine that, because I don't expect price to move lower than where it actually is. If price decides to come back, but it's fairly bearish. The first entry was there, the second entry it gave it twice, then yeah, so this, it's just up there, then we go swing cells. That's GBP and ZD, and the final one USD JPY, then I wrap it up. So on this, we had those cells. Actually, I was anticipating we will tap that level over there. So ideally, the reason why that's marked is why this ideally is a shift happened over here. Proper shift. After getting that shift, price created an outside formation. So our outside formation, the monthly, we can't be taking a stop loss on the monthly. We go down to the weekly. You can see we had this level over here. Price tapped in, then it closed down below. That's the weekly. On the weekly, we move over to the daily. Since price closed below here, I am very bearish. Now, where am I looking for trades? This level here. This zone, not level, this zone. So, this is a type 5, but it's that shooting star. So when I go to, let me go to the 4 first before I move to there. You guys can see we have not, okay, the highest price, they're still the same level. It's a double top. Okay, this is slightly higher than this, so we can consider this is where our shift point occurred. So now that we know this is our shift point, that is our shift point. That is FTA. FTA is telling us that price closed bearish. Now that we know price closed bearish and it has that inside formation, we have these levels. I'll not go in depth about the levels where we're going to take our trades and all that, but during, I think tomorrow, we'll talk about it more. So I want to see price come back up there, then we are going to dip it. It will be from a monthly level, so we're expecting mad movements. Yeah, this was actually a level that I was waiting for, so we might be holding it till next year, but we'll have to wait. Yeah, we'll have to wait. Yeah, apart from that, anything else that we'll need to look at, we'll be communicating it in the group or in the Discord. I hope you guys had enlightenment, and we'll see you guys tomorrow, the ones who will be on. Hez, kuna kitu yote ungetaka kuambia watu kabla tufunge meeting?
Hey, good evening, guys. Sijui kama mnanipata.
Umelemewa, sauti yako tu inasema.
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys look at gold, but the session has just been pouring out. Maybe you can talk about gold, Sage.
Je, inakuwa yako.
Acha niongelelee huyu kijana wetu asi fall back zaidi.
Asizirai bana.
Muone huruma. Okay. Acha niangalie gold as we finish it up. So for gold, last week I kept telling you I was bearish. Yeah. For gold, it is proving to us that it is doing the thing. So I'm expecting it to go. Let me just clear that. So what has gold been doing? It went up. We bought from here, broke structure to the upside over here. After breaking structure to the upside from here, we had this. You guys can see the doji. Price reacted from it twice very nicely. Closed bearish. So I want to see price come back to these levels. Then I want to sell it. Why am I selling it? Talks on wars, kutulia, on Ukraine. I've not heard Israel deciding to bomb people anymore. Vitu kama hizo ndio zinafanya nifikiria kusell. And the closing of the US government, it made it clear that the guys in the US hawajakuwa na flow ya pesa. Kama kujakuwa na flow ya pesa, scarcity in the US dollar means that there hasn't been a flow of dollars for a while now. So personally, I want to see price come back up here. I love to sell. Where are we selling to? Let's go to a higher time frame. Reduce the noise. As you guys can see, we've had a gap here. That gap had to be recovered. It reacted from the key level over here, a very clean key level. Na iliguza kabisa. So after it may react from a key level, I want to see price come back up so that we can sell. I am not certain that we will come to this level, but it would be the ideal target. Yeah. So we will be buying gold come next week. We'll buy it. Ideally, I'm expecting it not to go as fast as this. Maybe we will move like this to get up there, but we'll have to wait and see. Yeah. So I'm in for buys, then we can sell. We'll be getting better, clearer instructions as we move on during the week. But yeah, I want to see price come to around, you can see over here, price didn't really consume completely this level. So we have this. This is actually, this is liquidity engineering that happened there. I don't know if Hez told you about that ama nini. So we have that liquidity engineering. Tutachukua buy zetu hapo mzuri because I told you I was bearish, yeah. I bearish till that level, we shoot up, then we look for if prices will be printed for us to sell, we'll sell. If it keeps on telling us we are buying, we will keep on buying. We go with what the market tells us and not what we decide. Yeah. Anyways, that is my general view on gold. I am very bullish and very, very bearish because the stabilization of the economy. Because when we don't have chaos in the world, the dollar stabilizes and gold stabilizes. Kukiona chaos, then we start buying gold aimlessly. So that's my overview on XAU.
Thank you so much, Sage. So tomorrow during the London session, I also give out my insights. Generally, all the analysis tonight has been amazing. Ni venye sauti yangu haiko kidogo, lakini najua kesho takuwa sawa. This is the last week of the month, and I will just tell you guys, It's all it's a matter of planning, execution, three things: SL, TP, break even, nothing much. So whatever we have just talked about is just an overview of what you're anticipating. But now the real thing comes in during the execution. So tomorrow at 9:30 in the morning, we're going to have our usual session. We will be contributing all of us so that we can get the intraday ideas as well as maybe the midterm swings for the few days that are remaining before we come to the end of November. So mimi sina mengi. You guys have a lovely night and have a peaceful week. We meet tomorrow in our morning Discord streaming session.
Oh, there's this guy. Okay, you actually entered the session with a number, so we don't know your name, we don't know where you're from. Can you like maybe drop your email or drop your WhatsApp number so that Hez can get in contact with you or I can get in contact with you? Because you're saying you're new and you wanted to know more. So we'd like to even reach out to you, but you haven't made it easy for us. But the session will be on YouTube. It has been live streaming throughout, yeah. Hez, see, you'll talk to Ngetich.
It's okay, I'll reach out to him.
So,
I think we can end this meeting at this time. In case you need anything, guys, you can go back to YouTube and rewatch the session. Also for the purpose of learning. You guys have a great night. But during our stream in the morning.